In this video, we will be studying about one-dimensional array. So an array is a collection of similar type of elements which has the same name. For example, we can have an array called A and I am declaring its type to be int. So this array has got 20 elements. So these elements are stored in consecutive memory locations and their index will start from 0. All the array's index or the position will start from 0 and it will continue up till n minus 1. So here if n is 20, then the last location will be 19. So you'll have 20 elements in total and each element will be some number which is integer. So instead of integer, if I'm having float or char data type, then each element will be float and each element will be character type. So whatever the array be, it can only store similar items inside it. It cannot have mixed items inside the array. In order to declare an array, like I told you, this is the syntax. So first we have to write the data type. Then we have to write the array name. Here it is called mark. Then we have to write the size of the array. While using array, we should use square brackets itself. Inside that we could write the size of the array. A parenthesis or a curved bracket is used for grouping or used for condition checking, whereas a flower bracket is used for grouping together multiple statements. So here the array called mark can store 10 values. So the index, as I told you earlier, will be from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the size of the array. Since the position have got an index, they are also called as indexed variables. Next, as we saw earlier, we are studying about one-dimensional array. So it is also called as a linear sequence or also called as a vector. This is how you could declare. This is also one method that instead of writing 3 plus 5, you can also write it as 8, but this is also valid. Then float b of 10. So this will have an array called b, which has got 10 elements and each will be of type float. This is an array called C with 20 elements and each element will be of type character. So each of the elements will store one character inside it. But we must note that the following size declarations are not considered valid. For example, you cannot give a variable name while declaring. This is not considered valid. Then you cannot give a decimal number. A negative number is also not considered valid. Or the size of the array cannot be 0 because size 0 means the array does not exist. Next, let us see how to store values inside an array. There are 3 ways to store the values and let's see the first one. In order to initialize the array, we could give the values inside the program itself. So here M is an array of size 5 and each of the elements stores integers. So we are giving the values of these integers over here. So here M of 0 will be 90, M of 1 will be 80, M of 2 100, M of 3 70 and M of 4 60. So all this indicates the element and its value. We can give it by comma separated values and inside a flower bracket. After that, remember to give a semicolon. If suppose the value inside this bracket is greater than that of this size, then the compiler will show an error. If the value on the right hand sides are lesser than the size given, then automatically the remaining values will be assigned a value 0. You can also avoid giving the size of this array. and instead of that, it will be automatically allocated with the size of 4. Also, character arrays may be initialized in a similar manner. So here there is an array called name and the size we have not declared, and on the right hand side we have given various characters followed by a /0. So if it is a character, please remember to give them in single quotes and they must be comma separated, and the last element will be /0. This is true for a string or an array of characters. Next, how can you assign value to a single element? For example, if you have an array mark consisting of 50 elements, but you need to assign only value to the fourth element. The index starts from 0, hence if you write mark 3, it indicates that it is the fourth element. If you want to give the fourth element equal to 100, you can just give a statement like this. Mark of 3 is equal to 100. This is the most important method how you can assign values to an array. The user can input the values using a for loop. The for loop will be initialized from I is equal to 0 because the index always starts from 0. Next will be the test condition as to how many elements are to be entered, and the last is the update case. So using this method you can input the values to the array. Let us see how to read the values of an array and to find their sum and average. So first I am going to assign a few variables. I am also going to declare a float called average. This is an array which is of size 50. The name of the array is A and its values will be all integers. So we are going to prompt the user to enter the size of the array which will be stored in n. I am going to initialize the loop counter is equal to 0, and then it will be up till the size of the array that is less than n, never equal to n, because we have to have elements only from 0 to n minus 1. And this is how the loop counter is updated. Now the user is prompted to enter the values and the values are entered and stored in the array. We are going to assign sum is equal to 0, that is the variable sum will be equal to 0. Using a for loop, we will begin from one end of the array and we will add each element with the sum. So first we are going to start with sum is equal to sum plus a of 0. Next sum will be equal to sum plus a of 1. Sum is equal to sum plus a of 2 and so on up till the value n minus 1. So by this time all the elements will be added to sum and we will reach the end of the array. Once you exit from that for loop, you can calculate the average. Average is a floating point number. So some compilers may not support that since sum and n are both integers. So in order to convert that into float, you can either use type convert or you can multiply it with a 1.0. So you will get average in a floating point number. Then we can print both sum and average. Next program, write a program to print an array in reverse order. So we are going to declare a couple of variables and an array named A with the size 50. The user is prompted to enter the size of the array, and using a for loop we are going to read in all the values of the array. So once we have taken in all the values, we can start from I is equal to n minus 1. That is, if there are 4 elements, then this will have index 0 and this will have index n minus 1 or equal to 3. This is 1 and so We need to start from n minus 1, which will be the last element, and we have to decrement the values till it reaches 0. So we can print each of the values one by one. Remember that the question says only to print the array in reverse order but not to store it. So we are just printing it onto the screen. We are not actually reversing the array over here. Next is a method to copy one array to the next. Like how we copy two variables, that is for example how we copy the value of C to A, it is not possible to do that in array. Even though they may have the same size and they may of the same type, we cannot copy it like A is equal to B. That is not valid. So what we have to do is we have to copy element by element as shown over here. So for that we will use a for loop. So A of I will be equal to B of I. So the value in B is copied to A. So here B of 0 will be equal to A of 0. Then the next element B of 1 will be copied to A of 1. B of 2 will be copied to A of 2 and it will go. So this is the original program for that. So this is the line where the values in the array A are copied to B. Then we will print that final array. Write a program to find the count of odd and even numbers in an array. So imagine this is your array and we have to count the number of even numbers. For example, 4 and 2 are our even numbers, so the count will be equal to 2. And remaining we have 4 numbers which are odd, so the count will be equal to 4. So we want to initialize the variable. The user is prompted to enter the size of the array which is stored in n, and using a for loop we are going to read the array. Then we are going to set the two counter variables even and odd is equal to 0. Then we are going to check each element. First element we will take, then we are going to check if percentage 2 is equal to 0. That is, we are going to check if the remainder will be equal to 0. If it is 0, it means that it is an even number and even plus plus will be added. If this is false, then the odd will be incremented. So by the end of the array, we will get the count of even and odd. So once the for loop is exited, it will come to the statement where the number of odd numbers and even numbers are printed.